Hey, guess what? We spoiled a whole bunch of stuff this time, y'all. Are you ready to hear what it was? Okay. The Dark Knight Rises.
I Am Legend.
Lucy.
I forgot what mine were. I'm out of order.
Just, what do you mean?
BioShock, Batman Arkham Asylum, Infamous Second Son, and Wolfenstein.
Dragon Age Inquisition.
Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2.
Lost.
St. Elsewhere.
The Village.
Teen Titans.
Is that it? It sounded like you were going to say more. X-Files.
Matrix Revolutions.
Did we say The Dark Knight Rises?
Yeah, you started off with that. I'm just going to go. You just sit there for a minute. Star Wars, The Last Jedi, and Rogue One.
Signs.
It's all you now.
War of the Worlds.
No, it's not. Roseanne, go. Now it's all you.
Knowing. Prometheus. X-Men Origins. Spider-Man 3. The Wolverine. And pretty much all the other M. Night Shyamalan movies.
Yeah, that whole universe.
We get in there. All right, well, there you go.
So if you don't want any of these spoiled, watch all of that stuff or play it or read it.
Hey, let me save you some trouble.
Don't.
You ready? 3, 2, 1. Hey, everybody. My voice is very loud in all of our headphones.
Yeah, you really are.
Welcome to the jungle, baby. You're gonna die!
God. That is not helping.
Oh, well, it helped me a little bit. Hey, do you guys remember this past Sunday when we had a super sweet launch party and we came out as AFGF to all of our friends and family? Yep. We came out to all of our friends and family. It was awesome.
As AFGF.
They were all very super supportive.
Yeah. They were loving and supportive, except for all the ones who didn't come. You guys can suck it.
Who are dead now. To us, at least.
Well, and physically, because I murdered them.
Okay.
Just kidding.
I was going to say, that's on my list.
Today, we're going to be doing...
Wait, who are you?
Who am I, dude? Who even am
you?
I? My name is Simon. I'm here. I'm a good friend of yours.
Oh, I'm Dana. Sorry, I wasn't sure if you were going to go next.
We're never going to get that down.
Nope.
I'm Amon, your good friend.
Amon's got it.
Cool.
Makes us look like crap.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And...
as always.
TippyTop. Top list of worst endings. Worst endings of whatever. Anything, everything.
Of any medium.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, all mine are the same medium, but
oh, really?
that's
What'd you
okay.
pick?
Movies.
Movies? Okay.
It was just easier for me that way.
Mm-hmm. I was trying to find, like, man, I was like, is there, like, an album that just, like, ends horribly? But I couldn't really think. I don't know if you can necessarily, like, judge an album in the same way that you can judge, like, a movie. You know what I mean?
It really depends. Like, if an album is, like, one complete thought in that sense of, like, the album is truly, like, a product, like through and through, like one piece, and then it can be judged as like having a good or bad ending. But most albums these days are like, yes, some of the songs have like similar themes or production or something like that, but it's not like the whole album's not a thing. It's just like, these are the songs I've been writing for the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And here they are, as opposed to like,
it's like a whole bunch of
this
singles
is like
put
a
together.
Story that I've pieced together as an album.
Yeah, like The Wall or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I picked, I'm sort of all over the board. I tried to get like a good breadth of...
Good smattering.
A good smattering, a good...
Yeah, no, I tried to do the same.
Mm-hmm. Well, why don't you start us off, Dane?
Oh, okay. Well, I have way more honorable mentions because, like, I was talking to Amon right before this, and we were talking about the difference between, like, hating a movie and hating the ending,
like,
or the ending ruining the rest of the movie experience. You know what I mean? Because I can go on and on about movies that I just don't like or TV shows that I don't like. But it's different when it's like, this is a great movie until this point, kind of a thing. So
I'll be honest, though. I kind of had like a little bit of trouble with this when it came to like, because most things I just have, I feel like, such a low expectation for. You know what I mean? Like, I am not expecting anything to like blow me away or to really
Right.
like rock me. So when a thing just ends, I'm like, I'm good. Seems
Well,
good. Glad it's over.
Well, I was telling like Dana, like there are definitely movies that are good until the ending, and then the ending actually ruins the movie. But then there are other movies that I have on my list that have other problems. Like the movie's not good, but I'm focusing solely on the ending, and that's what I'm
Because
focusing.
it's extraordinarily bad.
Right, because like the movie itself is garbage, and we're ruling that aside, and the ending itself is what I'm focusing on as worst ending. So some of these movies are good, and then the ending is bad, and then some of them are just bad through and through. But yes,
But then the ending makes it worse.
right. So like for Dana, she said she was leaning more towards like what endings actually ruined good, potentially good things, whereas mine is like both. Where most of the movies on my list are bad and they have bad endings. So
Fun.
I'm gonna take you guys back to a time.
I'm ready, dude.
Of
Hey,
nine-
hold on. Let me.
Okay. All right. Oh, good.
That's me
good.
getting in my time machine.
Good. Oh, it's a very loud time
adjusting
machine.
your time machine seat settings.
It doesn't have automatic seat.
Or Windows.
To a time of 1954.
Okay, I don't know if I really like that time, but I'll go.
Well, I loved it. I did. I was born in '89.
You
Anyway, there was a book called I Am Legend
Uh-huh.
that was written
Uh-huh. That's from 54?
1954. It's been adapted apparently 3 times in 2
Wowzers.
movies.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
2 movies.
No, in three. It's been adapted 3 times into a movie. Sorry, I
Oh,
I said that wrong.
Sorry, I was
It's 3 different times, 3 different movies.
Okay.
2 movies.
in 2 movies. Into
I put
movies.
Yes.
the emphasis on the wrong syllable.
Yes.
Okay, so 1954, book comes out. Everyone's like, whoa, maybe. I don't know if it was
I
popular.
wasn't alive then.
Probably.
Okay, then we fast forward to 2007, and Will Smith is like, I'm going to be in this movie,
Man,
right?
Love you, Will.
And then...
I know you're listening to this right now, so I just wanted to make sure you know
Shameless plug.
how much I love you, Will Smith.
Listen to my Will Smith fan cast.
Oh.
2007, Will Smith stars in I Am Legend,
Uh-huh.
which, same title, everything. The ending, now, have you guys seen that movie?
Yes.
Okay, I also have, which is...
Whoa!
I
what?
know, right? Right.
Crazy.
Yeah, considering I don't see any movie. The end of that movie, Will Smith, finds a cure for this disease, illness, sickness, whatever, and then finds like a colony of survivors, right? And walks up to it and is like, here's the cure. Okay, bye, and leaves, and then goes back to his lab and blows up his lab with himself and some monsters inside of it.
Yeah, I remember that ending. I only remember the part where he blows himself up. I don't remember the part where he actually goes and gives somebody a cure.
He doesn't in the movie.
I thought he did.
Mm-mm.
So, wait, then what am I thinking of?
So what happens in the movie is the girl, the
Yeah.
little...
Because he
is
captures
it
Yeah,
a
a boy,
it's the
monster.
girl
is
and
it
the
a
mom.
boy and the, or is it a girl and the mom?
Uh-huh. Because she's got like a butterfly.
Right. So there's a little girl and the mom, or the mom. They get in the little furnace because they're about to break through, and he's like, get in there, and then he closes the door behind them, and then he like pulls this grenade and blows up.
Don't they end up at the colony or something?
Yeah,
Yes.
they
Yes.
end up venturing with this like vial of blood that's like the cure,
Right,
but he like kills himself to save them.
right. Okay.
There were, yeah, this almost made it to my list. So.
Okay, that's fine. Whatever. That I would accept that ending if the book hadn't been written, but the book was written before the movie. In the book, the guy is same name, Robert. He isn't a scientist like they
Okay.
portray in almost every movie, right? He is the only one that is not infected
Okay.
that he knows of.
Was
And
he like a garbage man?
I don't know. He was just like a dude, right?
Just a dude?
It's
Okay.
anomaly.
And he
Uh-huh.
he would go out during the day because they were basically vampires.
Right.
Right, which is what these things were. He would go out during the day and just like collect all this research, and he would just work on a way to kill them, right? So this bacteria, which is how everyone got infected, would raise people from the dead, and they would become like undead vampires, or it would infect living people and they would just become vampires. So he found a way to...
Oh, wait, hold on. There were undead vampires and then just normal vampires?
Yes.
Do you think there was like a class system among them? Where like
you guys are
the
lower
living
class.
ones
yeah, where like the
undead.
living ones were like, ew, gross.
We never died, so
Yeah.
thanks.
Props not.
Well, it's interesting that you asked that question. So he finds a way to kill like massive amounts of these guys, because at night they would like swarm his house and try to get in, and they would like taunt him. They'd be like, "Come out, Robert!"
Oh, they could
and, like,
talk?
They could talk?
Yeah, they were intelligent.
Yikes.
Oh, weird.
Right? So
Creepy.
that was the thing. And so he was like outside one day, and he found some woman named Ruth, and he like took her in and was like, oh, and they fell in love, whatever. And then he was like explaining like all this research that he had done. Well, she like knocks him out and then writes a note and is like, basically, I was a spy sent in. We are vampires building a society. Like, we are ingratiating ourselves back into society. We have made a cure for our worst symptoms. So we're kind of like, we're better. The really aggressive vampires are the undead vampires, and they're the ones. So you're basically killing our people, right? So Robert is like, oh God. So they come to his house that night and they shoot Robert, and they capture him. And they're like, you have to stand trial for your crimes against us.
Oh, yikes.
Right? So they're going to execute him for killing so many of their people.
Uh-huh.
And then Ruth gives him suicide pills to take, and so that he's not executed. So he takes the pills, and then he looks out his window, and he sees like these vampires like looking at him with the same disgust that he looked at them.
Uh-huh.
And he realizes that he is now the legend,
He's the monster.
as opposed to the vampires being the legend to the humans. So it's like, that's the whole thing, is like the human is the monster in this new society, right?
So he is legend.
Yes, that's why it's called I Am Legend.
So different than the movie.
That's the thing, and I think it's like, so he did sacrifice himself because he didn't want to die. It's because he didn't want to like atone for his sins, basically.
Coward.
As opposed to
Atone for your vampire sins, dude.
you killed a whole bunch of people. But that was the thing, was like the vampires were like making this society, and he was just like, you guys are the monster, and was killing everybody, while the whole time they were like, this crazy monster is trying to kill us all.
Or were they like cognizant of the fact that they were once human beings?
Yes, because they made a cure. Well, a cure.
for their symptoms.
It was for their symptoms, yes.
For their
but they were,
bloodlust?
but they did have like status within the city. So like Ruth came like back and was like, I'm part of the elite whatever of this city.
Vampire Illuminati.
Basically,
Wait,
yeah.
could they like go out during the day? Were they like daywalkers? Like Blade?
Like Blade? Was Blade in there?
Blade in
Is
there?
Blade in this
It
book?
sounds like Blade.
You guys are the worst.
Sounds like a society of blades.
I think that they could go out during the day. It was like one of the things in the book was like Christian. So like vampires. Okay, hold on.
Okay.
So
What?
people
Ready.
who were Christian and then became the vampires, they would cower at the cross. But if you were Jewish and became a vampire, you wouldn't cower at the cross.
What about everyone
You
else?
cower at the Star of David.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, but that's the thing, is like I don't.
A lot of unanswered questions.
It was like it was almost like a, you read up on vampires, and so it was kind of like a learned behavior out of what vampires were, I guess.
Interesting. Now I can't decide if this is a good ending or not, because I like Simon's on like the good ending fence of this.
I'm on the book is a good ending. I'm on the movie is a bad ending.
I don't know. I'm a little flip flop there because I'm
Really?
like, now I like hear that storyline. The I Am Legend ending, I don't like it, but it's better than that book ending.
No, see, I prefer the book ending.
I prefer the book. The one thing I always was puzzled with like the movie ending with the I Am Legend movie is like they're in the furnace, right? Where there's no way out of there except for the door they used to get in it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? And there's that room is full of those freaking weird zombie vampires. And like the grenade goes off, yes. Okay, great.
But how strong
But
is
there
that
were like
furnace
hundreds
door?
of them in there.
That's
There were
my thing.
hundreds of
Like,
them in there.
How
And,
did
like,
it kill all of them? Also, when did they know, like, now it's safe
Yeah,
to come
now
out?
it's safe to
Like,
come out. Now
and they,
there's
like,
definitely
pop
not
out
one.
and they're just waiting. They're like, ha ha!
Yeah.
They were just like, everyone be quiet.
We were literally just standing
Well,
here.
he's like,
So I
yeah.
remember, like, they have that shot. It's like that super creepy shot where he like loses his dog in that warehouse or whatever, and he has to like go inside, and he sees them all like huddling
huddled
together and just like waiting and like writhing.
Yeah, they're like, oh, ugh.
They
Yeah,
would just be
it's
doing
creepy.
that in his lab, waiting
Right,
for
right.
like that sweet, sweet human flesh to come out of the furnace so they could just munch it, dude.
Yeah. Because wasn't that the thing? Like, didn't they just like, weren't they like standing there and then they just like started beating on the glass?
Yeah.
And it was like tiny
Well-
crack and it was like, oh no.
There's an alternate ending.
There is an alternate ending to the movie.
Yeah, so like, you can go ahead. And
But that
tell
wasn't
it.
the wide release of the movie.
Right.
What was the
So-
alternate ending?
It was closer to the book
Oh.
ending.
Yeah,
from what
he
I
doesn't do the
remember.
grenade thing. So like, that one he had captured that he was running all the tests on is like the girlfriend or wife of that head honcho
Yes.
dude who's like pissed off at him
Yes,
the entire
because
movie.
he stole his girlfriend.
Yeah. So like at the end
Surprise.
of the movie,
Girlfriend.
he gives her back to him from behind the glass, and he like picks her up, and he's like, "Rah," and he's mad, but he leaves.
Uh-huh.
And Will Smith is like, "I'm sorry," like he's saying it through the glass, and then that's like the end. And then I'm
That's a
guessing
bad
they,
ending,
like, they
too.
all go to the place. I don't know.
That's a bad ending.
Yeah, no, it's a bad
I mean
ending.
that, but
That one, that's a bad one, dude.
But I can see that one being closer to the book and the fact that he's saying he's sorry, as in like I'm sorry. Like
I'm sorry that I took your girlfriend and just been like running tests on her.
I think the thing that annoys me about the movie ending is the fact that there's like a survival colony. You know what I mean? Like that they go to. Like
Yeah.
that annoys me
In
because
like,
it's like
Connecticut or something.
yeah, it's like okay, Will Smith has been in New York how long? Like
yeah, literally like sending out frequencies
yeah,
like
and
on
it's
radios.
like and Connecticut is not that far away from
like,
New York.
We're
And
still
it's
on the East
like-
Coast, and somehow they're
And then
like,
they just jump cut to like, oh, here we are. Here's the cure, and it's like, wait,
we
how
made
did
it
you
to
find
this gated community.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I don't understand.
Got like M16s and somehow don't have a working radio.
Yeah, I don't. Anyway,
That's
so
gonna.
that-
I think that's gonna sort of lead me into my first one because that is a type of ending, and I sort of picked a few things that have like a certain type of ending that I hate and detest and think are generally always bad, and it is going to come with The Dark Knight Rises.
Okay. This almost made my list.
Yes.
It's on my list.
Yes, it is. Okay, well, great. We can both get in here then and just like dump on this thing. Because the same thing happens in Dark Knight Rises when you see Alfred Pennyworth in Florence, Italy. Okay, back up a couple steps to when
So
Batman,
angry.
takes a nuclear bomb like a mile off the coast of Gotham City in his cool plane and blows it up, or lets it detonate rather.
Right.
Like there's not
Survives.
everlasting like.
That's
result.
the thing. Like, it's not a bad ending if that's the end of the movie.
Yeah.
If that's the end of the movie and then they do that thing with the detective and being Robin.
Yeah, that's
like, That's
fine.
not the greatest Batman movie, but that's a solid ending. Like, sacrificial, he's a hero. Cool.
Yes.
Don't include this other cafe bullcrap. Like,
No.
It is, oh my God, it is so perverse what they do over there. I just can't stand it. Where they're
it's like so coincidental. Like, even if he did survive, say
Which
he
there's
does,
absolutely no way.
There's no way he survives. He survives somehow. He somehow finds Catwoman,
Right. That's
then
yes, then-
takes a trip to France or wherever this place
yeah, it's
is,
Fort
Italy.
Italy.
Italy, and then goes to this cafe, which like.
There's a bajillion
Okay,
of those.
so like Alfred tells
a literal
him.
bajillion.
In Italy,
Alfred
yeah.
tells him this like fantasy he has. never mentions the name of the cafe. Just says, "I sit down, get this little drink. I look up, I see you. Bam, there you are. Awesome, great fantasy, Alfred. Mind writing down the address of that specific cafe you're going to so that I can meet you there?"
Also, I've just been waiting in Florence, Italy for I guess I don't know 9 months until he decides to go.
Do you think
what are you
he
doing?
went there every day? Today's
He
the
would
day
have
I'll
had
see
to.
Alfred, and
Not,
then he
not
never
only
sees
that,
him.
but he would have had to okay, all right, what's her name? Anne Hathaway. Anne. All right. So from 9 to 9:30, we're gonna go to this cafe. From 9:30 to 9:45, we're going to this room. From 9:45 to 11, we have to stay at this central cafe so we can see if Alfred's gonna be anywhere in the market.
This is probably what he did. It's been several months. Each month they just go to a different cafe and they're like, maybe this is the one.
In Italy.
And then after a while, they're like, all right, we got to switch cafes because Alfred's not coming to this
because
one.
Italy is such a small place.
Drives me absolutely crazy. There's no, and not to say that Batman is a grounded movie. I mean, you know what I mean?
No,
but there are certain
it.
narrative. I don't know. You just can't take that sort of step.
Yeah.
There is no narrative thread that would lead you to believe, number one, that he could have survived a nuclear bomb. Number two, that he would have continued a relationship with Selena Kyle. Number three, that he would have made it to Florence, Italy. Number four, he would have found Alfred Pennyworth.
Same day.
And number five, that they wouldn't say a freaking word to one another.
They wouldn't even say anything.
Oh yeah, doesn't he just nod?
Hey,
he doesn't even drink his drink. He's
he just leaves.
He just leaves. What are you doing? Go say hi to that dead guy over there.
It's oh yeah, by the way, I've been faking my death for 9 months. How's it feel? Oldest friend I have in the world.
Yeah.
Basically my
Did
dad.
you have fun at my
Basically
funeral?
my dad, yeah. And I also don't understand.
I watched you from a drone crying at my funeral. What a sucker.
I watched you from my cool bat drone. It cost $2 billion. How's it feel?
That's the thing. The other thing too is when he takes the bomb, right, and he's like, "I'm gonna go. I'll see you guys. I'll be about half a mile away." It's okay, that's a nuclear.
I don't think that's how bombs work.
No. Also, everybody in Gotham now for generations, it's gonna be like Chernobyl.
Poison.
It's gonna have a
Also, there would have been
effects.
a tsunami or something in the water. It just blows up and there's no ripple effect at all.
Oh my
Everybody's
God.
"Oh, I'm blinded. Good thing that radiation has no effect on me."
Good thing I'm just gonna keep on flying to Italy now in my Batmo plane.
Oh, Morgan Freeman didn't tell you? I fixed the autopilot.
Oh, that movie.
Man. Really upset. That movie sort of just I still sort of like it. It just really upset me.
To me, it's
and the ending just more so.
We've had conversations about
yeah,
that.
it's obviously the weakest of the three in my mind.
There's definitely parts I still very much enjoy.
Yeah.
It's still duking out Batman movie, building up my back that Bane just broke in half. And
I forgot Bane was in that.
Yep.
Yeah. But there's some big old parts that why y'all fighting in daylight?
I know, why are you having this? I can't get into this. I can't do this again with you, Amon. I can't do this again with you.
Oh my God.
So yeah, Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah.
Horrible ending. Horrible ending.
Yeah, that one almost made my list, so I'm glad that you guys both had it on yours.
Yeah.
I figured it would be on your list, Simon.
Oh, of course.
I threw it on there for honorable mention.
Yeah.
I actually have a lot of honorable mentions, so I'm gonna blow through a couple of those and then get into one of my more detailed ones. Actually, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do two honorable mentions, and then because they're all Alien movies, so they all coincide.
Yeah.
So honorable mention, dishonorable mention. I wrote that down.
Nice. Got him, dude.
Got him good.
Take that, Will
Knowing
Smith.
With Nicolas Cage.
Just kidding.
Have you ever seen that movie?
No.
Knowing.
No.
Yeah.
Knowing. I haven't seen it.
It sucks. I mean, it had potential, but the ending, you guys probably won't see it. So the ending, spoiler alert, the ending,
We're going to put a spoiler alert at the beginning of this
Right, we
podcast.
have to. This is the worst endings. The ending is pretty much they've been aliens plotting like this whole. How do I explain this? So like, there's this kid, and they've chosen this kid who's like Nicolas Cage's son. And
The aliens?
The aliens.
Okay.
And they've also chosen this little girl, and they've like this girl like wrote these numbers down, and it's just like all these numbers, and Nicolas Cage like finds these numbers and realizes they're like it's like a date, a coordinate, like coordinates, and then like a time for like when something happens, and it's like some sort of natural disaster or like plane crash or something. And so like he's going through, and like he's like gotten up to like present day, so he's like something's gonna happen at this time, and he like doesn't know what it is. Anyways, and then like at the end of the movie, pretty much like the aliens are present, and the whole thing leads to this like last number, which is this solar flare that destroys the world, but like his son and this girl, the aliens are taking to another planet to like recreate the human race. It's stupid. It's a stupid ending.
I've got some questions, dude. I've got a few. Why can't you just like get some human DNA and just be like, hey, I'm just gonna make some more. Like, I'm a super intelligent alien race that can travel across the galaxy.
Okay, so like that specific reaction is the reason why like these two movies are on my list. But the other one is Prometheus. It's good until it like tries to tie back into the alien movies. And like at the very last scene, the freaking like proto-xenomorph like shows up, and you're like, why?
I have not seen that movie, but there's a YouTube channel called Red Letter Media that I watch, and they have done several videos. One is just called Questions About Prometheus, and it's just two guys sitting there, and it's just like, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes long, and they're just like, what was that for? What was the black blood? Like all this stuff. And it like I haven't seen the film, and it cracks me up because there's like so many questions that they have about this one film.
Me and Sam, like you guys know Sam, a friend of ours, we both like that movie as a standalone sci-fi, but as an alien movie, like it's just the worst. Yeah. Like
it's missing so much of what makes an alien movie, I think. And I think they're just like it was a cool sort of vision and like a cool
kind
direction.
Of like a prequel
But
concept.
it just they really just fell flat with what made the alien movies.
Right. Anyways,
among sex movies, Alien, no.
No. So these two kind of fit the same like question that you posed, but the first one is Signs.
Oh
and
yeah.
The second one is War of the Worlds, the remake with Tom Cruise.
Signs.
I don't remember War of the Worlds. I do remember Signs very well.
So the thing about both of these movies that you posed just recently was you have these crazy, advanced, intergalactic traveling species of aliens that are literally thwarted by like the simplest thing.
Yeah.
So like in Signs is water. Like why didn't they invade a planet like a desert planet?
Like
they knew like where they were going.
Isn't there more water on Earth than land?
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing.
80% water.
They were
What's that blue stuff that hurts us?
There's that planet. That's just all like deserts and stuff. Like, should we go there? Nah. What about this blue one? That's probably not water. It's probably not water. It'll be fine, guys. Let's just go there.
Go ahead.
War of the Worlds, like the freaking alien race, like they like have these big battles and they're fighting the military, and it's like this crazy thing. And the thing that kills them is the common cold. Like straight up, like they get infected with the common cold, and that's like literally the basis of their demise.
But weren't they like giant machines?
It was an alien race.
Okay.
But yeah, they had giant machines.
Yeah.
Literally even humans like this, like if we were gonna go to like the moon or Mars, we'd like wear spacesuits. We have like helmets on the entire time. Like at no point would we be like, oh, this will be fine, and then like die instantly. You would think that like Did they like test the air? Did they know like what pollutants were there when they like showed up? It's like no, it'll be fine. We'll just breathe their air. It'll be fine. It's probably just like our air at home. All their bacteria is the same. All their diseases are the same. It'll be fine.
That's like another thing called the common cold.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's just like the smallest freaking like bacteria is like what ends up killing them, which is super dumb in my opinion because you manage to figure out how to travel like between galaxies, but you can't like think I should wear a helmet when I leave this spaceship because it's probably not going to be the same.
I love how human directors think aliens are so stupid, and we're so much better.
We're like
than
only
them.
really good at one thing, which is like traveling.
Yeah,
But
that's
even
all
then,
we're
like,
good at, dude. We put all our skill points in travel.
We're like, yo, these aliens can travel and blow crap up like
Yeah.
way better than we can, but man, they can't
But they
breathe
can't breathe
at all. Also, water is the enemy.
See, that's what I never understood about that movie was Joaquin Phoenix was the baseball player, right?
Yes.
And that was he only good at baseball because okay,
Yes.
this was like the thing.
Yes.
He was good at baseball. That little girl was like obsessed with leaving water around the house,
Yes.
right?
Uh-huh.
Only for the
It was
setup
all
that
part
if I
of God's
break-
plan.
I guess.
That is that was the ending of the movie. It was God's plan.
It's Providence.
It's providence that all of that happened. That he was a washed-up baseball player. That the little girl left water everywhere. That Mel Gibson was insane. It's all.
But yeah, and then there was like that older boy, who I don't know, he was just there
Yeah.
to
I
make
can't
tinfoil
kick
hats.
down this wooden door.
I mean, it's like that movie. I don't know. It was just like, oh, it's like here's the MacGuffin, here's this other MacGuffin. Oh my God, here's
Yeah.
the major MacGuffin. It's like, no, that's not how
Oh,
Not how
Shyamalan.
any of this works.
movies work, dude. Like,
As long as we talk about signs, we could also just go ahead and throw that movie, The Village, up in there.
I was
That's
just
on my list.
I almost made my list. That almost made my list.
It's on my
I hated
list.
that
Since
movie.
I'll just say, I think a lot of Mr. Shyamalan's movies are sort of like, I love like a twist ending. I'm all
Yes.
about that.
Which it worked the
The
very first
Sixth
time.
Sense?
The very
Yeah.
first
Yes.
time.
It's a
And
solid.
then after everyone, it was like, where's the twist?
Yeah,
You're
we're
looking
waiting for it.
Mm.
I'll also say that what was the one with Paul Giamatti? Lady in the Water. I like
Yeah.
that one. I don't know why.
I never
like
saw
it.
that one.
don't
I
know
never
why
saw
like
that one either.
Oh my god.
Simon's just making a list of
It's
movies
nuts.
that we need to watch.
Yeah, it's got. There's a boy in it who only works out one side of his body, and so he's got like.
What?
What?
I don't know why,
Why?
this is in there, but he's like, man, that movie also has to do with like providence and like God's plan. And
Does he work out one side of his body because he needs, like, at one point someone needs to throw, like, a really good right hook, and
Well,
this boy comes out of nowhere and is
it's
like, my
because-
one arm! And just, like,
it's because at the end when they have to fight this grassy wolf demon, that he picks up a pool skimmer and he's the strong protector boy
Stop
for
it.
the lady in the water that lives in the pool at this motel, I guess.
Yeah,
I
but
need
The
to see
Village.
this movie.
It's
Yeah,
just
no,
like
The Village is dumb.
big twist. They're living it nowadays,
Which
but
is
no
like-
one knows.
I hated that. I
But
hated
no one
that so
knows,
much.
and what.
But the
living in, like, a
elders know. They've known the whole
no-fly zone,
time.
which means that they haven't been there long,
No.
unless it's like a rite of passage.
Yeah,
that you
unless
earn.
it's been like one generation, maybe.
But then, like that one chick who was like, "Oh, I'm blind, but I can see your aura. You're yellow and you're purple." Like, what? Why?
Also, the freaking like monsters that are just people in costumes.
Yes.
I was so
like,
pissed off at that.
I
like,
was too, because they
what?
were like legitimately like they
Scary.
looked like something
yeah.
out of like
Yes.
a like an MMO.
I was all about. I was like, "Oh heck yeah, dude! It's gonna be
That's,
a
like,
weird,
gnarly,
cool,
yeah.
monster movie."
Isn't Joaquin in that movie too?
yes,
Yeah.
because
Oh,
isn't he the one that like she's like, "I knew it wasn't
He's in the
you."
cabin.
Yeah.
He's like, there's a lot of secrets at the quarters of this village or whatever. He says that weird line. I just remember that.
Man,
That's weird.
Yeah, it's weird. It's a weird
Yeah,
movie.
That's
As a dumb ending. That was on my list.
Yeah.
Stupid ending because it's like they couldn't have been, like you said, they couldn't have been there that long, like maybe a generation, but like all their parents would have known, like,
That's the thing,
we
yeah,
were here
because-
when we got here.
Also-
Also, this is just a state park, like,
Yeah, it's like a state park. It's like you're telling me like a plane hasn't flown overhead,
that's
or
my
like
and just
thing.
seeing
a
this
helicopter.
entire like village
Do they
cut
like get
out
in
of the
contact
woods.
with the military? Like, hey, we're trying to this thing out. Don't fly any planes overhead for us,
Right,
please.
or like the park rangers, where like their job is to like
To
keep
know
like
what's going
maintenance
on.
it's
on
like
the
a really
park.
tall wall,
And there's
they're
this
just like
huge
nothing.
section of the park that's just like cut down. They're just like, oh, what? What's happening in here?
Yeah, man.
How long has this been going on?
M. Night
A whole
Shyamalan.
generation?
M. Night Shyamalan, because then I don't know. You guys have never seen The Visit, I'm assuming.
The visit.
Yeah, it's
That
M.
the
Night
one
Shyamalan
with the
the crazy grandparents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, get this oven or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
from the-
Clean the oven.
Oh,
You
gotta
yeah.
climb in there.
Dude.
I saw a previews for that. And I was
That's
like,
also a
no,
bad
thank
ending.
you.
I saw that on a pass up in Michigan.
Give me that little toast, girl. I'm like, no, Grandma. I don't want to get in your oven.
No joke. Okay, so the ending to that, I'm going to spoil it for you because I don't care. It turns out that that's not really their grandparents. They're just two crazy old people from an insane asylum down the street that killed their real grandparents, and they're hiding in the basement.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so the grandfather, this is the worst scene in that movie. The grandfather wears diapers, right?
Uh-huh.
And so
The real one or the fake one?
the fake grandfather.
Okay.
He wears diapers, and so like the boy, who's just the worst thing in any movie ever. He's so annoying. Like finds like a pile of diapers outside, and he's like, "Oh my god, it smells so bad," right? And so when like it's revealed like, "Oh, we're not your actual grandparents. We have to try to escape." The grandfather corners the boy, takes a diaper,
No.
and shoves
No.
it in his
No.
face.
Oh,
It's the
why?
most. It's
my
the
God.
most disgusting thing, and it's like the kid because it's like
Is it
found
like
footage.
a used
Like,
diaper?
yo, yeah.
Ugh.
I mean, it's like the whole thing.
It's like found footage. Wait, how's
Well-
that? How's it? Is it like a?
because it's like the daughter is like, oh, we're going to see our grandparents, and I'm gonna film the whole thing.
oh, is
and
it
so
that
it's like-
perspective the entire movie?
Yes.
I low
It's
key
real-
hate
oh,
movies
it's-
like that.
It's real bad because it's like, yeah, it's like, here's my tiny camera as it's like this 4K picture, you know, that's like over the shoulder. It's like, that's not how
Yeah, my
any
mom
of this
bought me
works.
this $8,000 Black
this red
Magic
camera.
4K cinema. Yeah.
So it's just like, but
Why
yeah,
do
it's-
people like making movies like that?
I don't know. But then it's like there's scenes where it's like they're like in the bedroom, the kids are in the bedroom, they're like, we hear sounds outside our bedroom. So they like hide a camera like in the living room, and then it's like naked grandma dancing
God.
across like, yeah, it's really weird. And it's like, why would you, who edited this found footage together?
Yeah.
Like, why
also,
would
yeah.
you-
Like, do they survive?
they do, yeah.
Okay, so they like this will make a great movie.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, here's a jump scare. Bam! It's like that's the thing that I always
jump
try to figure
scare all
out
my viewers real
with like
quick.
with like found footage. Is like, who edits these
I
films?
don't know.
But
I will say though that my fake grandpa wears diapers is my new band name.
my fake grandpa,
My fake grandpa wears diapers.
he wears
Is
real
your like
diapers.
first single face full of diaper?
Ew.
Face full of dipe. Face full of dipe. Face full of dipe.
Typing.
Oh
Dear
man.
God.
Where are we? Whose
I
turn?
think it's your turn because I hit up so many
Oh,
in
yeah.
the village.
I'm just gonna throw 2 books out there real quick. Actually, no, I'm gonna do 2 movies. Star Wars: The Last Jedi and Star Wars: Rogue One.
Last Jedi
Was the one that had like
Post-
the
post
where it
Rogue-
was like
No.
salt. It's like, should we know this planet that they're on?
Oh.
That
wait.
one.
That's the
We're-
most recent one?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
The one that subverted all of your
the
expectations.
Stupid freaking like.
Yeah, it starts off annoying with Luke like being like, "Give me my lightsaber," and then throws it off a cliff behind his
I'm
shoulder.
like. I'm like hot because I hate that movie so much. It's like Simon on The Dark Knight Rises over here.
that whole movie, but the ending, it was like Finn was like, "I'm gonna sacrifice myself. I'm going towards this giant." Oh my God, Ahmad almost just had a stroke because he rolled his eyes so much. Finn was like, "Oh, I'm gonna sacrifice myself," and then Rose is like, "No, you're not," and like runs into him, which could have killed him, right?
Oh, right.
And then is like,
Now I
"Love is the
remember.
answer," and then it's a gross kiss,
Oh
and then
my
they're like,
gosh.
That whole relationship
So
came out
stupid.
of nowhere.
I can't with the.
I bleeping hate that movie so much.
It's real bad. That whole movie sucks, but the ending is real bad. But Rogue One.
Is that the one where they go to the casino planet?
Yes, yes, and
Uh-huh.
it's like we're gonna
And they
save
like
these
ride
horses.
that weird bird through it or something.
Yeah, it's like a horse.
I don't
bird.
get it. I don't get
No,
it. And
I
then
don't-
at the end they're like, well, or when they're about to get like captured, they're like, well, we showed them, I guess. They're
Yeah.
like, what are you doing?
No, you didn't. You didn't show them anything.
They're rich. They'll just buy more stuff.
That's the thing, and then it's like, oh, there's Snoke, the big bad, and then it's like, oh, Kylo just turned his lightsaber on and cut him in half.
Yeah, you know that guy that you built so much.
Yeah,
he's dead now.
God, I hate that movie so
That
much.
was- yeah.
And then Rogue One, I also hate. I just don't like it.
Rogue One.
That's the one with the Jyn Erso.
See, I like that one.
I don't.
Yeah, see, I like that one more than the other two.
I like that one.
The other two, Star Wars? Like,
Yeah, out of the new ones,
oh, are you not including Solo?
that's a prequel, so no. Well, so is Rogue
Well,
One.
so is Rogue
yeah,
One.
but like, it's like.
I
Yeah,
just-
I didn't count. I don't count Solo. And yes, out of those 3 or 4, yes, still over Solo.
Okay.
The best part of Solo was Darth Maul.
That was the dumbest. Are you kidding? Oh my god. Sorry. Sorry.
Why was he in that movie, dude?
I don't know.
Why would you
was
do
such a
that right at
tease,
the end,
dude. It was
dude? Why
such
would
a
you do something like that?
Because it was like everybody's falling asleep by this point, so if we put Darth Maul on the screen, everybody will freak out.
But it was so at the end. It was like literally he was just like midi-chlorians, and then it was like done. It was like that
Yeah,
was it.
that's what I said. Best part of that movie.
No, but I hated Rogue One because it was like you know what happens because Rogue One was the immediate prequel to A New Hope, and so it's like you know that they get the plans to Leia, right?
Right.
But you know that they all die. And so they're building this character development, and they're like, care for these people before we kill them. And it's like, duh. I just hated it. Anyway, so.
I mean, I liked it. I liked it because I knew that was gonna happen. You know what I mean? So like I had that expectation. Also, man, here's like one of my biggest issues with Star Wars. I think is that it is for like a universe as big as it is.
Right.
Everything seems so like all the stories are so small. Like everything is like so claustrophobic, you know. And with that one, it opened up, and I think it's probably going to go too far in this direction once like Disney's made like 25 of these movies
And all the shows.
yeah, and there's like a $2,000 like collector's edition DVD box set of it all.
Yeah.
But when but when you've got like I forget his name, but he was he played Ip Man, but he's like the martial arts guy. He's like the blind monk in the movie. Like I loved his character, and freaking Forrest Whitaker was awesome and scary, even though he died in the stupidest way.
Stupidest.
I
part.
hated that.
Yeah, I was like,
because he was like
bad
well,
character.
Yeah.
Dumb way to die.
Yeah, and it was like, okay, you guys run, I'll hold him off, and it was like, but why? I don't know. It was just that movie just
Yeah, I guess I liked that movie. I didn't like what they did with the characters.
right. Okay, that's fair.
But I will say, like, on the same kind of link as Simon, like, you have this infinite universe
Of stories.
people
of
and
people.
stories and different, like, races and stuff. But, like,
But it is so
they're
small.
all the same
Yes.
people.
Oh,
like,
It's like
Jakku.
mostly still
Oh,
like
we're on
white
Tatooine.
people.
yeah,
like
but
white human
not even
people.
that. Like, even when they have, like, some crazy-looking Jedi, it's like, he does all the same things that this white Jedi does. It's like, okay, cool. Well, what's the point having different characters? So, like, one thing I did
Why
like
doesn't
about
he have
Rogue One
crazy
is, like,
tentacles?
they had, like, like they had the cool karate Jedi.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was a twist on something that we've seen so many times.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, he's doing things a little
Yeah.
different. You know,
That's
he's
fair.
not just like the Asian version of
Right.
this
Yeah.
other Jedi.
It also,
you
like,
know?
just showed you, like, there were more, there's more powerful, like, and like, a lot of the regular Star Wars, it's like the only people that have power are the Jedis or the Sith. But it's like, no, there's, like, actually, like, more people here that are strong and could do cool
right,
things.
and they're like attuned to the Force.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just every time like we talk about Jedi's, I always think of that scene in the prequels when like Obi-Wan and like I think Anakin walk into a room and it's just a bunch of kids with those like training helmets and those tiny lightsabers and they're just
Like,
like
where did you get that?
deflecting.
He has
Like,
a
why do you
tiny
have a tiny
version.
Why do you have lightsabers for children? Those things are so dangerous. And you just give like 15
Yeah,
of them.
also,
while blocking
close your
their
eyes.
And they're all just in a room together, and it's just like, oh my god.
Oh, this is why the Jedis are dying, dude. Because they're actually a bunch of idiots.
Oh my god. Okay, sorry. Those are just honorable mentions.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no. So
A
I've chosen
real movie.
I've chosen this television show because this is a trope. It's the same thing, sort of you did with Dark Knight Rises. Those kind of endings. Saint Elsewhere.
I don't know.
Is
I've
it-
never seen that.
is a TV show that ran from 1982 to 1988. I'm going
Okay.
old school today
Yeah.
with this stuff. So it's about a teaching hospital in Boston, right? It ran, like I say, from 82 to 88. So it's like 6 years, right?
Uh-huh.
And it's like, it was like you know, you guys have, you know, ER,
Yes.
right? It was kind
George
of like.
Clooney.
Yes. And Noah Wiley. ER was sort of, I mean, it was kind of like St. Elsewhere was like laid the foundation for these medical dramas kind of a thing. So like they're like, oh, you get to see the personal struggles with the doctors and the personal struggles of these the patients and like life or death and the humanity between like how they relate to that. And there was episodes about like addiction and AIDS and breast cancer and stuff like that probably wasn't touched upon a lot in the 80s. The last episode aired May 25th, 1988. And it shows like a lot of changes for a lot of doctors. Like doctors are leaving, doctors are getting promoted, doctors are, you know, living out their dreams, all this stuff. And then they show a pull out from a window. Like there's a camera pull from a window and it's snowing outside, and then they keep pulling. And then it shows a snow globe in the hands of a boy who is the son of one of the doctors.
What?
Who then is the grandson of another doctor, so it's like a family thing. But then the grandfather comes home, and it's clear that he works in construction and isn't a doctor.
What?
And so it's basically a dream, an imagination that this autistic boy had, all in a snow globe. And then it ends on a shot of the snow globe.
Okay.
Back up.
That's a lot of information.
I've seen things making fun, I guess, of this ending
Yes.
before.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know. I never knew what it was from.
Yeah.
I cannot believe. I cannot believe that got greenlit. Someone
That's-
was like, "This is it. This
Right.
is my freaking magnum opus, dude. This is what I've been building up for 6 years. This is how I'm gonna end it.
It
It's
was
all been a dream.
dream all along. And that whole trope, it was a dream all along, because it negates everything that happens.
I know, so stupid.
Everything
Yeah.
that happens. And so it's like, now if you watch that show, because you know the ending, if you watch that show, you're like, well, there's no consequences.
This is I have something on my list pertaining to this because it's another trope that I did, but like with Lost.
Yeah,
see
see, I
Lost?
never finished Lost.
Okay,
I didn't finish it, but yes.
dude, I invested so much
See,
into
and
that
that's the
show
thing,
because I
yes.
was like, this is so weird, and I've got to know what's going on. And then it got to the last season, I was like, oh no, this is all bad. This is all really bad and dumb. This is all
I
really
stopped
bad and
watching
dumb.
after Dominic Monaghan died.
Season 4, I think, is as far as I made it.
Really?
Hey, spoilers. You ready?
No, I know
Okay.
the
Wasn't it-
ending.
Yeah, they're all dead.
Yeah, wasn't it
They all
Purgatory?
died in the plane crash, and the island is purgatory, even though there's like a laboratory on there with
Yeah,
polar
and there were
bears.
people like living already on the island when they
Doesn't
got
make-
there, wasn't
Yeah.
it?
Oh my god, I can't.
The others.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the worst
I
show,
hate-
the biggest waste of my time.
And that's the thing is like with this trope of like, well, it was all, a, dream. It's
yeah.
like, okay,
A waste of time.
I just want to like kill you if you tell me like, oh, it's all a dream.
It's like at the end they're like, you know, it'd be really funny
If we just
You
trolled
know-
all of these
yeah, you know, it would
millions
be
of
really
viewers.
funny if we just like undermined everything we've been working for like
Right.
6 years to build. Wouldn't that be hilarious?
It'd be like, I don't know, if like The Sopranos ended with like, what's his face, Tony Soprano getting shot, and then it's like he woke up in bed and was like, whoa, what a
Whoa,
weird
what?
dream.
Yeah, or freaking
Wow,
Breaking
better-
Bad.
Yeah,
or
like
Yeah.
Walter White
could you
wakes up
imagine?
and he's like,
He's
"Oh,
like,
I still
does
have
it-
cancer."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
It's like
that's
has
like
hair.
that's the most
like,
insulting
the first
thing.
episode,
So terrible.
just napping this whole time.
So that's that whole
Yeah, I hate that.
yeah.
I hate. It's such a freaking like.
It's such a cop out. Like,
It's such a cop. It's so lazy, dude. It is so lazy. Because I don't care, man. Like how. Lost is an example. Like there's. I cannot imagine from the very beginning of that show that they were going to end it with
That way.
they're all dead. Yeah,
but
there's
that's-
no way.
That's the thing is like I think I remember reading that when they started that show, they had no idea what the ending was going to be.
Yeah,
They were
well-
like, we'll figure it out.
well, we're lost, so
So it
It's
doesn't
just
matter.
like, but like, okay.
Also, like, how did that airplane with the heroin get on there? Why are there polar bears, dude? Also, like,
Oh, the Dharma Initiative and all that stuff. Yeah. That's the thing. There was like the numbers and the buttons.
why can Purgatory
the
move?
freaking like black
Yes.
thing,
The
cloud
smoke
thing.
monster,
Oh, yeah.
which was
right.
like a god, which this other god that was on the island was keeping contained on the island.
What?
Yeah, that's pretty much as far as I got before I was like, I had to stop because there was no closure. There was
Yeah.
never any closure. Like at the end of the episode, like more questions now. I can't keep watching this show.
Yeah, apparently it didn't get better.
Yeah,
All their
no.
crazy
I've heard.
like interconnections in their background stories.
Yeah, that
which
was always
like
weird.
bonkers.
See, I don't even really need like closure. You know what I mean? I just need and I don't even need all the threads to be tied up necessarily. Like, I'm okay with having some questions because I would rather that than like, oh, we have to answer everything.
Yeah.
Which you don't. You
No,
super
you don't.
Because that's part of the fun. That's part of the mystery. That's part of what you're building. But like, no, you know, an easy way to answer every question, but
Mm-hmm.
not answer any question. They're all dead.
Yeah, it's purgatory. Yeah, so that
Stupid,
whole
bad.
trope of oh they're all dead or oh it was a dream the whole time, that's annoying to me. I
Yes.
hate it.
Yes.
So yeah.
Where you at?
All right, I got so many. Yeah, okay. So I've got one on my list, but I've got a bunch of honorable mentions still. They're all Marvel movies, so I'll just jump into there.
Wow.
They're like Marvel, Sony, Fox. They're all
Yeah.
kind of mixed in
Oh,
there.
yeah.
So, I have The Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2 on here for separate reasons. I also have 2 Wolverine movies on here.
Wait, Tobey Maguire?
Andrew
Oh,
Garfield.
okay.
Also have Spider-Man 3 on here.
I was
So-
gonna say, how dare you put Tobey Maguire's 1 and 2 before you put 3 on there?
Yeah, 3's so bad.
No. It's not Tobey Maguire's 1 and 2.
No, I know. That's why I
Okay.
asked.
Oh,
'Cause
yeah,
I was gonna
sorry.
say, how
was
dare you?
like,
Yeah, I
what?
got you.
I actually don't really have beef with those movies.
I like those movies.
Yeah.
Okay.
The
Good.
first two.
Yes.
The
Yeah.
The third is
The third one's when he
bonkers
turns
for
emo, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's so many other
And
problems
there's
with
that
that movie.
weird dance scene where he's like, "Ooh, I'm a cool jazz boy.
I
Look
hate
at me
that scene.
snapping my
That's
fingers."
literally like gives me
Ooh, is this
so
what
much
Venom is?
cringe. Like, anyways, so Spider-Man 2, the end of that movie is dumb because
Sorry, I thought
it's
you were
like
gonna stop
not
talking.
just that's it. No, like not even the whole like Gwen Stacy dying, which comes into play on my Spider-Man 1 thing, or Amazing Spider-Man 1. But the whole like it's this scene at the end of the movie, and like the Rhino's there for some reason, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna kill people and stuff," and you're like, "Why are you even here?
Why are you here, dude?"
And then like this one kid like steps out, has a Spider-Man costume on, like, where's your mom? Like, how did you even get out there, like, in front of the cop cars? Like, no one tried to stop you. Like, wait, Billy. It's like, where's my kid?
Yeah,
like,
no, I think,
it's like,
I
oh,
think
he's
Billy's
out there.
got it. Yeah, no, hold on. Let's see where this
He's
goes,
wearing a
dude.
Spider-Man suit.
Yeah,
I
and he
don't know.
like puts on the mask, and then the Rhino's like talking to him. I don't even remember what he says because it's stupid. And then like the real Spider-Man shows up behind him, and he like turns around, he like pulls him. He's like, "I knew you'd come." Like, it's so campy and stupid.
Yeah, it's
Oh
so
my
bad.
God.
And then like
Because
he
at any
gives him
point-
like that fist
yeah.
bump. Like at any point, Rhino could just be like,
crush-
"Time to go." Like
Yeah,
I'm just gonna
stomping
wait
time,
till they
dude.
have this feel good moment, and the kid gets inspired, and then
Oh
I'll
my
beat up
God.
Spider-Man. But then you have this like, "All right, I'm gonna kill you now," and it's like, "All right, let's start our fight." And he like picks up this freaking manhole cover, and then the movie ends, and you're like, "What? We didn't need any
Wait,
of that."
it ends.
Yeah,
in the
you
middle.
don't see the fight. It's literally this like
So
build up to
bad.
this fight that they're about to have, and then there's no fight, and then
Did they run out of
Andrew
money?
Garfield
I don't-
goes away, so we never see that fight in another movie because it doesn't exist.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that he did 3 movies.
No.
No, he just did 2.
Oh my God, Sony, what are you doing, man?
Right. Plenty of problems with that movie
Yeah.
in general. That's the one with Jamie Foxx.
Man.
Yeah. Anyways.
Oh.
So
I haven't seen it.
Yeah,
I remember seeing
Gwen
yeah.
Stacy dies in that movie, and that's the reason why Amazing Spider-Man 1 is that's a terrible ending, because you have her father, who's the police chief, and he's literally like dying in Spider-Man's arms, and he's looking at Spider-Man in the face because his mask is off, and he's like, don't date my daughter, like stay out of her life. It's pretty much like stay out of
Yeah,
her life
fair.
because you're gonna get her killed. And he's like, I promise you this. And he literally says that like while the dude's dying, he dies, and then like a week has gone by. They're at school. It's like the end of that movie, and they're kind of like avoiding each other, and they're both pouty because like her dad died, and he's like, I gotta stay away from him because I promised her dead dad. And then like at the end of the movie, like he's like, I made a promise, and then they're in class, and he's like, he's sitting right behind her, and he's like, the best thing about, he's like just saying this in class, like everyone around him are like, hey, I'm trying to take a quiz, like the best thing about promises is they're made to be broken, is literally what he says. And she starts to smile, and the movie ends, and you're like,
So
you
stupid.
killed her in the second movie. Like if you'd
my
only just like
God.
kept your freaking promise, she would be alive, you dummy.
You had one job, Spider-Man.
You had one job, Spider-Man. Spider-Man 3 is stupid because freaking Jeeves, like, why didn't you tell Harry that freaking Spider-Man didn't kill his dad like a long time ago, you idiot? Like, he's like, oh, at the end of the movie, he's like, oh, by the way, Spider-Man didn't kill your dad. Like, oh, that would have been nice to know, like, 2 movies ago, you idiot.
I'm gonna throw up. Oh my God.
Like out of all the terrible things in that movie, like Harry's like he literally like sacrifices himself at the end and dies for like Spider-Man, this person he's been trying to kill since movie 1, and like Jeeves was like, oh yeah, by the way, he's not your enemy. Turns out the Goblin killed your dad. Oh man, so stupid, so stupid. It's like, Jeeves, you literally live in the same house as me. Like,
You could have told
talk
me
to me
anytime.
every day. So that's why that movie sucks.
What is going on with Spider-Man?
X-Men Origins, man, they did Deadpool dirty in that movie, and that ending is terrible. Like, you already have so many questions, like, who are all these extra characters? Why is Will.I.am in this movie? Like, it's like,
It's the most important question, dude.
like, why isn't there more Gambit in this movie?
Yeah.
Like, so many good things that there could have been. And you have this, hey, you know what would be great? Let's get on the top of that silo over there.
Yeah.
And I hate you, Sabretooth. Let's fight this out. Oh, wait, Deadpool's here, but not regular Deadpool.
No.
Mouth missing,
Yeah, I was
sword
gonna say,
arms
like-
Deadpool.
He's like freaking
With, like,
Baraka from
freaking-
Mortal Kombat, dude.
Dude,
Cyclops eyes that he can actually control, unlike Cyclops.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Because doesn't it cut like the nuclear silo like?
Yeah,
Well, yeah, because they
Which is-
chop his head off, and then his eyes are still open. And he's just like his head's falling down
Which
the
doesn't
silo,
make
and
any
it's cutting
sense.
like
That
everything.
makes no sense.
Yeah, I don't know how laser eyes work, but I'm pretty sure they don't work if you chop the head off.
He's
Also,
just
like-
like, oh, well, I was laser eye when you chopped my head off, so it was just continual.
Also, do laser eyes just go on forever, or do they have like a range? Like how long? Like
I
was
don't-
like someone
I
just like
don't-
chilling on their front porch and they're like, oh my god, like what?
Just like flying a plane. Just
It's
like,
like, whoop.
what?
Oh
Yeah,
my God.
terrible ending. Just the worst. Also, the lady, like, she disappears. Oh, no, did she get shot?
Which one?
His, like, girlfriend. Because she's, like, she tells Stryker to keep walking until his feet fall off, and he walks away after he shoots
No,
um,
I don't remember.
like, or Hugh Jackman, Wolverine in the head, like, twice,
Yeah.
and so now he's,
yeah.
like, lost his memory, but then she uses her powers to be like, all right, Stryker, time to start walking, and don't walk when your feet hurt, keep walking. I don't know, she said something like
Yeah.
that, but then, like, I don't remember what happens to her, like, if she was shot, and I think she was shot, and she dies, and then Gambit's like, we gotta get out of here. Like, where'd you come from?
Oh, zoinks! We need to get out of here. Yeah, it's like,
Yeah,
oh my god.
terrible ending.
I saw
Terrible
that
ending.
movie once in the theater, and never again.
I'm proud of you though for seeing a movie.
I know, right?
I've got one last, well, on this rant, I got one last like Wolverine movie, and it is the Wolverine,
Is that the
the
Japan
one in Japan. See, unlike a lot of people, I actually really enjoyed this movie, but then like the end of the movie is super stupid because first of all, like Silver Samurai shows up, and Silver Samurai's character like in Marvel Comics isn't this giant mech. It's just like a dude, and they just have him this giant like Hulkbuster version of Silver Samurai, which the old man is like controlling.
I remember that.
And he's,
his
like,
head
fighting.
looks so weird in there
Oh
because
my
it's so like
gosh.
CG.
Yeah, it's so bad, and it's like you have this movie where like pretty much all of it so far is like based in like a man to man like world, and then you get to the ending, and all of a sudden there's this giant robot. Like literally nothing like this has been shown in the movie up until this point. And you have this giant robot that faces off him,
Yep.
and they're like fighting, and it's really intense. And you're like, "What is this? It's so stupid!" Like you could have just had like a regular ending. I just thought it was
Regular
like
ending.
yeah, like not like this blown out of proportion like Hulkbuster ending fight scene. Like it would have just been way better without that ending. And then him like, I gotta drain your adamantium, JK. Like you have it in Logan, so I don't know where it came back from,
Yeah.
but like. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense because, like, he gets, like, drained, and then he still ends up killing the dude, and then at, like, in Logan, you see the, like, samurai sword that's from that movie in his, like, room, but he still has adamantium claws, so you're like, I don't understand. Did he lose it? Did he only lose some of it? Did he, like, get that back? I don't know. Terrible ending.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that is actually
remember.
gonna dovetail. Here's the thing with that movie specifically. It's like, oh, here's a boss battle, right? Like, here's a boss battle for a movie that had no need or like no like foreshadowing or like nothing about
Right.
this
No.
giant robot samurai that would be coming into play. And like that, I've just listed out several games here because I just think like that is the other trope where it's just like, oh, the boss battle. Like
Yeah.
like a game has to have a boss battle. Like, oh, this movie has to have a boss battle because that's the best way to end it. And when you have stuff like BioShock or like Batman Arkham Asylum or like Infamous Second Son, like the Wolfenstein games, like there's always like this freaking thing where it's like you're playing, especially with something like BioShock, where you have like this narrative and you have like these certain skills and you're interfacing with the world in a certain way and you're dealing with enemies in a certain way and all that sort of stuff. And then at the very end, at like the climax, when you're supposed to be like having the most emotional response to the game, right, is like in this final moment where you're supposed to put everything you've learned to the test. You're supposed to get all the answers you've been searching for, and then they just throw like a big monster at you
Yeah.
for like no reason because they think it'll be hard and like scary and cool.
But at this point, you're already like OP, so it's just like, bleh.
Well, yeah, and it's also it's like it's just so like narratively it is so dumb because it does like in BioShock there's like the guy who's sort of been like leading you on all along. He like ingests all this atom is what they call it, but like to turn him into like a crazy big mutant, and then you just have to fight this giant mutant, and I'm like, this is stupid. Like this is dumb, and I don't like this, and I don't know why you're doing it. And that was, it was the same. That's like literally the exact ending in Batman: Arkham Asylum, because that whole game you're doing the same thing. You're like learning your environment, and you're like learning your skills, and you're learning how to deal with enemies in a certain way, and you're solving puzzles. And then what's this at the very end? Joker took a whole bunch of crazy sauce, and now he's like a big mutant.
Joker,
and like, what is this fight, dude? It's like. You haven't even prepared me to fight this enemy. Like, I don't understand, like, why this is in the game. The Joker, he wouldn't even do anything like that. It's, like, never done anything like that.
Yeah, like, give us, like, something that fits that storyline, like Bane. At least just give us Bane that's, like, juiced
anything.
up. Like,
I mean,
Joker would never be juiced up like that.
And even, like, an Infamous Second Son is, like, from just these ones I've listened to, probably, like, the biggest perpetrator because, like, I don't know if FL played any of those games.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, at the very end, you know, you have these kind of like smoke powers and lightning powers and all these different powers. And this lady who's like trying to gain control basically, it like she has like rock powers, right? Which is like, okay, like they're like the game is sort of like showing you how to deal with like all these different enemies and things like that. But at the very end, she's like, giant rock scorpion activate, and she just like turns into this huge concrete scorpion that you have to fight, and I'm just like, what are you doing? What are you actually doing right now? I don't understand why you would make a decision like you don't need to have a boss battle.
No.
Like every game doesn't need a boss battle. Like movies, you don't need a boss battle. Like that is, I think, equally as lazy as
a dream
or it's anything else. Like
it's a cop out because like instead of making like the villain memorable and like as enriched as possible, they're just like, well, let's just have a big fight scene at the end. It's like
this is what people want: violence and feeling powerful.
Big stuff.
Yeah. See, I have a video
Explosions.
game on my list of Dragon Age Inquisition because that game just made me angry at the end, and like it tried to redeem itself with the DLC. But there's one character that like is on your team, and you can romance him if you want.
Sex him up.
Yeah, you can. But
do 'em dirty.
But like you do like this big old battle, right? And it's like the whole thing is like your arm. You have like this thing on your arm that like can open these like rifts, and they can close the rifts, right? And so it's like you're told the whole game like, once you beat like the main guy, your arm will be better. Spoiler alert, it doesn't get better. So they cut to like
District 9.
Yeah, so this is the thing. So you have an option at the end of the game of if you want like they'll just chop your arm off. Right? Because they're like, well, we can't cure it, so it's going to spread. And it's like, okay, well, and like you do have like a choice. It's like, okay, well, chop my arm off. Right? And so it's like, oh man, we beat that battle. And then like this one guy who you've been with the whole game is like, he picks up like this orb or whatever. But he's like, basically it is revealed that he's like the catalyst for why all this stuff happened.
So dumb.
And it's like, you've been with him all this time and you trust him and you love him. And then he's like, I'm the reason all this bad stuff happened to you. And then he disappears. And you don't get an explanation for anything. And I'm annoyed by it still.
There's a lot of games that do stuff like that where you have, like, at the ending, you know, especially, like, choice-driven games and stuff like that where you, like, get to the ending and it, like, makes you make this big choice, like, oh, do I cut my arm off or do I not? Or it's like, in Dark Souls, like, when you get to the end, it's like, oh, do I rekindle this bonfire or do I, like, let the world fall into an age of darkness again?
Yeah.
And then you choose, and it doesn't make any difference at all, dude.
At all.
And so, like, why is this even in here? Like, why not just, like, choose for me and let me, like, man, I would have really liked it if it was the other way. And, like, great, but at least like put in a little bit more effort to like like you were the game maker, you know, you were the movie maker, you were the artist. Like I am a part of this, but man, it is that is equally as lazy. It's just laziness. Like I don't like it.
Fable did that too, where it was like, oh, you kill the big bad, and then you have the mask that like calls to you.
Yes.
And it's like, do you throw it in the lava or do you put it on?
And
if you put it on, it's like, oh, you're ultimate evil.
Yeah, roll credits.
Yeah, basically. And then it's like you start the game up, and it's like, cool, I got this mask on, and then people are just disgusted by you.
Yeah.
But they still find you attractive. It's so just like dumb.
You scare me, but you're like really hot.
Your scary meter is like all the way, but then also your
The
attractive
hot
meter is all the way.
Also all the way up.
Yeah.
I'm attracted to things I'm scared of.
Yeah.
Yep.
So.
It scares me how much I love you. But yeah.
Also, just like again, I'm not saying like shout out to the bad games with just like multiple endings that all the endings are bad anyway.
Oh yeah.
And then sometimes when they're like, oh, you can get the good ending or the bad ending, but the bad like if I was like say like Fable or whatever, and I was like playing this game and like doing everything evil, stealing from everyone, killing townsfolk,
Yeah.
you know, whatever, and then I'm playing my character as like evil, and then I get to the end and I can like, oh, here's the good ending or here's the bad ending. I got the bad ending, but then they try and like make you feel bad for being bad,
right.
and I'm like, I thought this was a game. I thought I was supposed to be having fun. Like, why are you trying to punish me at the very end for playing the game the way you sort of like let me play it?
Yeah,
You
Fable
know?
2 did that a lot because like your dog dies.
That's
So like
awful.
you have this dog like the whole game, and your dog dies, and one of the endings is like you can resurrect your family and your dog. You can not resurrect anybody and take a bunch of money, or you could resurrect everybody but your family and your dog. And it's like, well, if like the dog was in like all three
why?
of those, like that would be it would be
I would take the money in the dog.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Money in the
But
dog
it's like,
for me,
but the dog is
please.
only in one, so I'm always gonna choose that one choice. It's dumb. I hate it.
Well, I think endings are hard.
Endings are hard.
But also, I think people are lazy with them sometimes.
People are lazy.
And, well, not even maybe laziness, but like they want to please everybody.
Right.
And so they're like, oh, we're going to open the ending up so everyone can get what they
I
want.
also think that, like, especially with like sequels and stuff, they're like, well, we're making money, so it doesn't really matter what the
Yeah,
ending's
so
like.
you don't want to put a bow on it.
Yeah, oh
Yeah.
my gosh. And then then there's those movies that are like maybe pitched it was a good idea, but like when they got down to it, it was like
Whoa, this
what
is
were you
not
thinking?
working.
This
Yeah.
is terrible. Like, yeah, I have more. I don't know if you guys have more, if you want to go through any more.
I do, man. But the last one I want to talk about, I think, it's actually, I think, very good, but it's very bad. So,
What?
yeah.
Explain.
Okay, I'll get into it. You may have seen this before, but the ending of Teen Titans, where with Beast Boy and Tara, you've seen this? Okay, I honestly can't decide if this is like actually really good or as bad as it makes me feel, because the whole connection with Beast Boy and Tara is they were together for a while, but then she quote unquote like died, but she got turned into a statue, right? And everyone thought she was dead, and she goes away for a while, and then she reappears magically with no explanation, right? But she has amnesia, so doesn't remember Beast Boy, doesn't
sorry.
remember their relationship, doesn't remember all the good times.
That old trope.
Right. But then you have all these like episodes of Beast Boy trying to make Tara remember and like trying to do things for her and help her, and then
But also, like, Tara's like working for Slade,
yes,
like Deathstroke, so the villain,
Yeah.
the whole time.
but even like when like Beast Boy and Slade like battle, he's like, I didn't do this to Tara, like I didn't brainwash her, I didn't do any of that stuff,
Right.
like blah blah blah. And then at the end of the show, Beast Boy is like talking to Tara, and she's like, sometimes he's like, you just have to like move on. You have to let her go. Like you're like that. Oh, that's what Slade was like saying to Beast Boy. Is like, you have to let her go. You're pushing her away with all this, and then at the end she's like, people change, and like that's how Teen Titans,
It's
like
like-
one of my favorite animated series, just ends.
That
with
breaks
like,
my heart. I've
yeah,
never seen it.
because it's just like, oh my god, like you're right, people do change and people fall apart and relationships, and like, granted, I was also watching this at a point in my life, at a certain point in my life, you know what I mean? So it had a little bit more impact between like, oh, relationships and you know.
It still has impact.
Yes. But I was just like, I can't decide. I think like all the sort of nature surrounding the ending is bad, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like coming back without explanation, bad. Amnesia,
Right.
bad. Like all that sort of stuff, bad. But all of the heart that went in to getting to that end point was very good.
I think that the whole Terra, like you said, like the emotional struggle and like people change and all that stuff is good because it like gives more of a level to that show that is kind of more actiony, even though it's a fantastic show. I don't have any issues with it, but I think it's bad as an ending because like it rides so much on Beast Boy and Terra, in my opinion, and it like focuses so much on them and
not everyone else.
and not everyone else.
That you know and love.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like my favorite character on there is Robin. It's not those two, and so like you have these episodes that are very like Beast Boy, Terra, like focused. Slade's in there some, but like it's very like focused on those two, and you're like, where's the rest of the gang?
Yeah.
Like I don't want the show to end on like this note of just two characters, and one of them's not even in the core team. Like I want it to be like as much as I don't want this show to end, I want it to be like a group ending and not that. And that's why I would say it's a bad ending, not because of like the actual content of the ending. I think
the
it's
way
like,
in which they ended the show.
right, the way in which they ended the show, I think is what makes it a bad ending, and not like that struggle of letting go or people changing. I think that's like an interesting concept for them to like throw into like a kids quote unquote show, but I think just not having the ending with the whole gang, I think is what made it for me a bad ending.
I'm on board with that.
I never watched Teen Titans.
You should, because it's good. Do you have more?
I have one more. The show Roseanne.
I never watched the show.
I couldn't.
I never watched it either. I mean, like it was like on, like I would like if it was like on a, like when it was on syndication or whatever.
That was actually one of the ones my mom was like, "You can't watch the show," and I was like, "Okay, dude, fine."
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, my mom, same.
So it like, I guess they had like 9 seasons, and in the 9th season, oh my God, what's his name?
It's not Goodman.
John Goodman.
John Goodman. It is
you.
John Goodman. I was thinking of John
it is
Candy,
Goodman.
and I was like, no, that's not right.
John Goodman was filming The Big Lebowski, and so he wasn't in it a lot. And I guess at the end of the 8th season, his character suffered a heart attack. But I think also in the 8th season, he cheated on. He had an affair with Roseanne, not with Roseanne, on Roseanne.
Right.
And so in the 9th season, like everything's fine. Like they win the lottery of like some like $108 million, some like a ridiculous amount of money.
Some crazy thing.
And then in the last episode, it's revealed that Roseanne is writing this book about her life, and it's revealed that basically that last season was all made up. So it kind of follows that trope.
Bad.
But the thing is, it ends with like, so Dan actually had a heart attack and died in the 8th season. He didn't actually have an affair. He was just like dying, right? And so all this stuff. Well, that show came back like last year.
Yeah.
Roseanne did. And the ending like was completely ignored because, well, I don't know. Dan is John Goodman. His character was completely fine and alive in it.
Good.
Just like completely ignored. So it's like a double whammy. It's like it was one of those like, oh, I made it all up, but then also like it came back as a revival, and it was like, okay, all that stuff that was made up was also a lie. And so it's like, what?
That's really bad too.
Yeah.
we'll just forget about season 8 and 9.
Yeah, kind of and so now the show is just called The Connors because they fired Roseanne because of her racist tweets and the whole thing. There's a whole thing, but
Roseanne's racist, dude.
Yeah.
yeah,
Who
she's
isn't?
like right wing, like hardcore right wing.
I did not
Like
know
she
this.
was like
I mean,
some
I don't
of
really
her,
know anything about her. but-
No, but I guess like some of her tweets were like, "Hey, listen up, lefties," and it was just like, "Yikes!" Like that wasn't the offensive part
I
of
was like,
the tweet.
yeah, I wouldn't fire someone over
No,
that
no,
per se, but yeah.
But yeah, so like it was so bad. Like it was like, oh, it was all a dream, and then it was like, JK, it wasn't.
JK wasn't a
Everyone's
dream.
fine. Yeah, yeah. So it's just like there was so much about that is just like, what is happening?
I don't think there's like ever gonna be a property that I'm so excited to see come back and like be like redone that I would let go of what was already made. Like if
Right.
they were like, oh, we're gonna bring back, I don't know, Cowboy Bebop,
Teen
right?
Titans.
Teen Titans, right? But they're like,
But
oh,
Tara doesn't have amnesia.
right, but we're just going to get rid of that. I'm like, no, I don't think that's okay, actually, for you to do that.
Right.
For me, that's not okay. You got to be smarter. Sorry.
Right.
You got to write a little bit better. You got to be smarter.
In my honorable mentions is X-Files.
Okay.
Because I love that show. Don't get me wrong, I love that show. But when it came back for the most recent seasons, so like the finale, the 9th season sucked. Like I hated it, right? Like all this stuff happened and I was like, this is just dumb. And a major player was killed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, guess who's back for the new seasons?
Major player.
Yeah, exactly. But it was like,
Dumb.
it was literally like the way that he died wasn't like something like, oh, he somehow escaped. It was like a military helicopter hovered in front of him and then shot a missile into his face and he died.
Diaper
clearly.
face.
And then it's just like he came back in the new one and was
No,
like,
you don't
I'm
come
back in a wheelchair. And it was like,
That
what?
missile only got the lower half of me.
But then, like, the next season, which was, like, the last season, he was fine. He didn't need the wheelchair. And the way
Oh
that they
my God.
argued was, like, well, they have alien technology.
Yeah,
to
it's
make him
alien
better.
magic to
Yeah.
unexplode
Yeah.
his body.
Exoskeleton.
Basically, yeah. So,
Stupid.
This is just
stuff
a
like that where it's
mannequin.
like, yeah, it's like, oh, we're bringing this stuff back. Just forget about what we wrote
See,
before. It's
I
like,
would think,
why?
I would be more down with, like, the directors or the writers being like, no, this is like his twin brother who looks
Right.
exactly the
I
same
would
and acts
take
exactly
that,
like,
yeah.
okay, like
He's
we're
carrying
all,
on his legacy.
yeah,
It's
we're all just
all
like,
right.
we're all pretending right now, but at least I don't have to like buy like this crap story you're telling me where it's like, oh, they're just gonna come back. It's like, no, let's just like be very self-aware and self-evident with like what
Yeah.
we're doing here, because we all know it's not like you're freaking like gassing me up with like this story about how a guy got unexploded by a rocket. Like, no.
I'd rather suspend my disbelief for a twin brother that's
Yeah.
carrying on a legacy
Right.
than
Or like a
I
clone or
survived.
something. Yeah.
But and plus, like with like something like that, where it is like they have all this alien tech,
It's like sci-fi already.
Yeah, it's like you can do so much than like I didn't die.
I'm back.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So
He's like real stiff and he's like, is that a robot? Like, you're not sure. It's like,
malfunctions. And
I'm
sparks.
back.
But yeah, so stuff like that where it's just like, especially with like now with all these revivals and like they're bringing these shows back or they're like redoing these movies.
Yeah.
All these like nostalgia
Yeah.
pieces.
Stuff can stay where it is. Man, stuff can just be good for what it was, and that's fine.
Yeah.
And let's make new cool stuff.
They just released I guess they're the original cast has signed on to do Ghostbusters for 2020.
Dude,
Nobody wants that.
I guess all of them except Spangler. Oh God, I forgot his real name. But anyway, because he passed away.
Yeah, you can't
that's
sign
okay.
on.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
that's number one of why maybe you shouldn't, right? Because like, hey,
Person in this crew is
Harold
dead.
Ramis. Sorry.
yeah, they're not all still alive. Number
Right.
one. Number two, like, I don't know, man. It's just like part of what makes Ghostbusters so good is the fact that it was like the time period in which it was
Yes,
made and the
right.
constrictions and like the weirdness and the.
I can
Yeah.
see it
It's
now
not
coming
the
back,
same.
and it's gonna be like Bill Murray holding a cell phone. Like, what
I
do I
know,
do
I
with a
just, like-
camera? And it's gonna be like, oh my God,
Beep,
like,
boop, bop, beep, beep.
yeah, exactly. I don't know how to hold. It's like
No,
someone's
my-
gonna make like a
my
hold it
Snapchat's haunted.
horizontal.
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah. I feel like
I
that's
don't-
what movies are now, or just remakes of old movies,
They are.
or old
Or
video
reboots.
games, or old shows.
And that's where we're living right now.
Yeah.
Y'all got anything else?
Yes. Sorry.
You're
Close
fine.
this out, dude.
Yeah, I'll close this out. Okay.
Don't make the ending of this podcast like on this list.
Oh, yeah. We're gonna end it
I
well.
don't want it to be like meta where I'm like, okay, another really bad ending is this episode of the podcast.
See you, nerds.
Another really bad ending is. Wait, what? I just woke up.
It was all a dream.
It was all a
Go,
dream.
go.
Mom, Dad?
Lucy. Did you guys ever see that movie? With Scarlett Johansson.
Scarlett Johansson, yes.
No, but I
It
know
was like a
the
it was like a
ending.
worse version of Limitless. If you ever saw that with Bradley Cooper, where he like takes his
I
drug
do.
and it like
Oh, like-
unlocks
Yeah, it's
more
like you
of
can
his
use
brain.
90%
yeah.
of your brain as
so
opposed
like
to 10.
she's like pretty much a
That's not how the
drug
brain works, by
mule,
the way.
like for this cartel, and the like capsule inside her stomach opens, so all this drugs released into her system, and it unlocks her like brain function. And as more like gets into her system, like more like they're constantly flashing this percentage like on the screen of like how much of her brain like she's at, and like as it increases, her freaking powers become ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like at first it's like
God.
I can change my hair color like instantly. It's weird. And then like I can stop bullets, and it gets real weird, and then she's pretty much like
Yeah,
like
it's like, I
telepathic.
can create another hand out of my hand.
Yeah, and then she's like, I'm in the system and I'm plugged into the world, and then she turns into this weird like black goopy stuff,
Uh-huh.
and then like is
It's
like,
like
I
Prometheus.
know everything and I'm everywhere, so now I'm this starry black USB drive.
Yep. It's basically like the end of the
Sorry.
Lawnmower Man, but in, what was that made, like 2016 or something like that? I don't know.
Yeah, it's literally like she turns into a USB drive so that Morgan Freeman can like understand everything.
Yeah,
by,
the
like-
answers of
So
life.
she's-
Yeah, the answers of life.
A human being.
Yes.
She
That takes drugs.
She gets to 100% and she becomes pretty much this entity. Like
basically like
she's-
a god.
yeah, and she's like in everything. This dude that was like trying to find her like looks at his cell phone and it says like I'm everywhere on it. So she's like plugged in or whatever. And so yeah,
She
and then
turns
she
into a
yeah,
USB.
she turns into this
drive.
weird like
Yeah, she like absorbs all
cosmic
the
like goop and is
computers
just
and
like
stuff around her in this lab.
it's
and-
weird like black goop stuff that has all these like tentacles that are like grabbing all the electronics in the room, just becoming this weird pile, and then she just like solidifies into this like USB drive, and it just like pokes out, and it's like and then like
Wait,
Morgan
hold
Freeman's
on.
like, I'll take that, but then
Wait.
like when he's holding it, it just like shows like. You ever watch Chowder and like the
Yeah.
background
Yeah.
like it moves around with the object? That's what she's. It's an obscure reference, but I'm glad you guys got it. But yeah, it's like a starry night behind the USB drive, so he just
Wait.
moves it around, and it's not like a colored USB. It's like a portal
Yes.
into.
Wait, where was Morgan Freeman? Was he like in an internet
He
cafe?
was-
What was he?
No,
No,
he's like.
He's working
this-
for like some agency. Or
He's,
maybe it was
he's
an
a
agency.
professor,
Yeah.
that thinks that like has the theory about unlocking the rest of your brain. It's possible.
Yeah,
Turns you
because
into
she
a
goes
USB
to
drive.
him.
She goes to him to try to
like,
understand,
understand what's happening
going
to her.
on. Yeah. It's bad. So she just turns into a USB drive. It's terrible.
That's like the dumbest.
Here's the thing, dude. Here's the thing. I was excited for that movie
I was too.
because I was like, man, this looks cool and weird, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm into things that are cool and weird.
Hmm.
But I know it's hard. Like, I know it's hard to make things and to make things good. But, like...
That's the thing, though. Like, at that time, Scarlett Johansson was, like, hitting up all these, like, sci-fi movies. And it was like, man, this is going to be another good one. She's already, like, Black Widow. She just did, like, Ghost in the Shell.
Yep.
And, like, we were all on board for that. And then she's like, Lucy. And you're like, this is probably going to be good, too. And you go in, and the first half's really not that bad. And there's, like, a lot of action. And you're like, okay, this is kind of like Limitless, but, like, way more sci-fi-y.
Yeah.
And then like it just as soon as it gets to like I don't know 40% or whatever it is, it's like, all right, this is getting a little out of hand. It's
God,
like,
only at
okay.
40% too.
It gets pretty buck wild pretty quick, and at the ending you're
Yikes.
like, okay, neat,
Yeah.
USB.
Yeah, there's no, like, actual point to the movie.
Uh-huh.
Also, it's like, where are these drugs? And, like, can just anyone
Yeah,
get
can
these?
anybody
Like,
get-
are they
yeah.
trafficking them everywhere? Like, Are more people going to get connected? Like, what is actually happening?
Are they hinting that like each USB drive used to be a human, but then they took these drugs and now we just all have little tiny
Chills, dude.
humans who have like 100% brain functionality?
Chills.
Crazy. All right, last one. I know you've seen it. I know you haven't. It's the third Matrix movie. So many questions. That just the end of the movie is so like, yes, you get like this sacrificial, heroic, like Neo sacrifices himself, saves humanity, supposedly. And like,
dude.
and Agent Smith is gone, which is good. These are good things. But then it's like, we
Wait,
get this
is this-
sunrise. You're like, awesome, that's beautiful. But it doesn't answer any of my questions.
Is this the one that you guys were talking about before where it was like, oh, the Matrix will always happen no matter what?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Because like they have this weird like the architect and the Oracle meet at this park bench in the last scene of the movie with the freaking kung fu guy, and they like. It's like how long? Like first, I have questions. It's like how long will this peace actually last? What about everybody else that's still plugged in? Like, and like, will they actually free those people that want out, which is what they said they would do? And then, what did the Oracle mean when she was like, "Yeah, we'll see Neo again"? And it's like, will we? Like, I can understand. Like, we'll see the one again because that makes sense because there's like always that anomaly.
Yeah.
Which is what the architect was talking about, but it's like I don't think we'll see Neo again. Little sunrise girl. I don't understand what your purpose is. Yeah.
Also, they're rebooting the Matrix.
Yeah, they're doing.
Are they
that.
really?
Yeah. One Wachowski sister.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and Keanu Reeves and the chick that plays Trinity are already like on board.
As
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So maybe your questions will be answered, dude.
Probably not, but yeah.
Probably not.
wait, are they
because
rebooting it as in like?
The Matrix 4.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like they were gonna go back and be like, here's the
No.
Matrix.
No.
Again.
No.
Reloaded.
Not
Like-
reloaded.
Yeah.
It's got like 3 E's.
Yeah.
Reload. Buffering. The Matrix
Stupid.
buffering.
God.
Yeah. Too many questions. No answers. Nothing solidified. It's like, all right, awesome. You saved that cave of people.
Yep.
That's about
good,
it.
I guess.
I
Way to
guess.
go.
Or not good because the machines could just be like, you know what? Neo's gone now. Now we can kill everybody.
Dear God. Those movies.
Okay, well, we did it.
We did it.
Those
did
are
it.
those are your TippyTop worst endings.
Yeah.
Some thematic, some just actually bad endings to
True.
lots of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure we said some stuff in there that you don't like.
Yeah. And you know what?
Tough.
Oh, I was gonna say I don't care.
Yeah, we all got our own opinions. That's fine. Why don't you tell us some of yours if you've got the guts, dude? You want to come in here and tell me?
You want to go?
You got the guts.
I don't know where that came from. Anyway.
Oh my
Got the
God.
gumbo?
I'm just gonna I've noticed one thing too with we've got some of these episodes where we go back over everything we said and some where we just end it.
Yep.
Let's make a decision right now. Do we want to go back over, do we want to restate everything we talked about, or do we want to just lead from the end into the end? Like the last
What would
thing.
make a worse ending? Is the real
A worse
question.
ending would just be cutting it off right now. Okay, and now, and now a better
Pause
ending.
for dramatic effect.
Pause for trolling.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we could go over kind of what we said.
Yeah, I think
because-
just hit him, re-hit him, and
Just
then
hit everything. Pop, pop, pop,
Yeah.
pop, 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 pop.
yeah.
that works.
Okay.
Did you write it all?
I wrote
down?
most of it down.
Okay.
I kind of
sweet.
stopped because I lost focus.
We hit
Here
up a
you
lot
go,
of-
dude.
hit a
Your
lot of
tippy top list of the top worst endings. I Am Legend, The Dark Knight Rises. And then we sort of hit just all of M. Night Shyamalan, except for that first time he did it,
Except
and that was
for
pretty cool.
The Sixth Sense.
Uh-huh. Then we did Rogue One and what was the other one?
The Last Jedi.
Last Jedi.
The Last Jedi more so than Rogue One. I have contention
Same.
with
That
Rogue
side
One.
of the
Yes.
table.
Yeah.
Then we just went through like all the Marvel movies, basically. Spider-Man.
All the like Marvel, Sony, Fox movies.
Yeah.
Not really like MCU really at all.
Yeah,
No.
all those endings are the same, so
Yeah.
They all
they're all
suck.
like mediocre.
Jeeves.
That's all the ones I wrote down. What else did we say?
Teen Titans.
We got Teen Titans. We talked about BioShock and Arkham Asylum, Infamous, Wolfenstein, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Just bad boss battle.
We talked about Dragon Age.
Dragon Age Inquisition.
And
Chopping arms
Roseanne.
off.
And
Roseanne.
Saint Elsewhere.
Oh yeah, Insane Elsewhere. That was the one that.
And Lost.
There's
Wow,
so much
Lost.
bad stuff out there. You gotta be
Yeah,
careful, dude.
Whenever, I feel like I have more, whenever we make like a worst list, I
Yeah.
feel like I have more stuff than
They're
like a
good
best
things.
list. Yeah.
It's so depressing. Why is that, dude? Are you just like,
No.
Well,
I get on a
the
roll
thing
of
is
just
like
angry.
it's easier to remember bad things than it is to remember good things. That's just across the board.
You know what?
Like you remember mistakes more than you remember things that you're good at. You remember like things you hated more than things that you really like. So when you're making like the best duos, that one was like hard. That was hard for me because I was like, there's too many, like, and I didn't want to
know a lot
write
of
down a
bad
bunch.
duos.
I'll just write down 5. But then it was like worse endings, and I was like, I'll fill this whole page up. Like,
Accurate.
well, there you go.
Lucy, Matrix
Lucy
Revolutions.
and
Yeah.
Matrix.
I
Yeah.
said Roseanne, right?
Yeah.
It's tough out there. But hey,
Hey, give these endings.
Prometheus.
yeah, don't. Oh, Prometheus,
Knowing.
yeah. God, we talked about so much stuff.
Was Knowing not a M. Night Shyamalan?
No, it's not.
Oh.
It just sucks.
All
It's
right.
Nicolas Cage.
Oh.
Oh, Nikki. All right. Well, hey, everyone out there. We've got a YouTube channel that you should go look at and watch some videos and maybe hit that subscribe button, bro. Smash that thing.
Click on the thing
All
and
right.
Yeah.
the
This
stuff.
is quickly turning into a bad ending.
yeah. It's very meta at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, check out YouTube. Check out our Instagrams if you want to. Also, if you could leave a review on the podcast, that'd be cool.
That would be cool.
Comment.
And you're great.
Yeah. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks.
We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
When
What?
ends the same.
I don't know, why is it always like that? How do